Yeah, please excuse me. I am currently sitting in my vehicle in the Shepherd Center parking lot while my son does his rehabilitation for his traumatic brain injury that he has. But I wanted to take a second to make a quick video while I was sitting here. Um, yeah, and excuse the noise because they're doing lawn maintenance too. Convenient. Anyway, so I've discovered the deeper that I get into the corruption, the investigation, whatever you want to call it in Cherokee County, because since my story has gone viral the way that it has, I've had so many people reach out to me and tell me different stories that they've dealt with either in the sheriff's department or in the court system, like in general. And then I had this particular story or incident that I was following. So my criminal attorney picked up this case in Cherokee County, and mind you, my attorney is a Forsyth County attorney, and that's specifically why I elected to hire him, was because I did not want an attorney that was in the county. I wanted someone that was, independent, wasn't in the pockets of this person and that person, and was going to help me fight as much as I wanted to fight, right? So anyway, he had picked up another client here in Cherokee County, and this client was pulled over on the highway. I believe it was 75. It could have been five. I think maybe it was 575, and where the speed limit was 70 miles per hour. So he was pulled over by a Georgia state trooper in Cherokee County and was written a ticket for an alleged 103 and a 70. Mind you, the kid, and I'm going to call him a kid, even though he's like in his young 20s, just because I have a 22-year-old, and that's just to me, he's still a kid. They'll probably always be a kid. So anyway, this kid, had disputed the fact that he wasn't going 103 and a 70. Matter of fact, he told the officer when he pulled him over, "Oh, wow, like I didn't think I was going that fast." There was no evidence in the case. There's a dash cam. The dash cam comes on late, comes on as the officer is exiting whatever exit he was on. So he's exiting the ramp to get onto the highway, passes like 8 vehicles before he gets up to this car that he pulls over, and the kid pulls over immediately. He's in this little white four-door sedan. I think it's four-door. But anyway, so they start going to court and whatnot, and the DA offers, or the prosecutor, they call him the assistant solicitor here for misdemeanor charges, offers and or wants and won't accept anything less than 2 days in jail and a year probation. And my attorney, his attorney, was like, no, I'm not okay with that. So they elect for a jury trial. And mind you, it was an entire shit show, the entire process. My attorney went through so much hell, and he had filed so many different motions because the solicitor's office was obstructing his ability to even get discovery in the case. He had went there one day and went to the clerk to get the discovery, and they made him pay $20 for this discovery, and he wrote on the check, the name of the client that it was for. And then he got 45 minutes back to his office and put the CD in and found out it was for a totally different person. And so when he had written them and said something about it, not only did they try to blame him for it, they wanted him to pay another $20, and then at the end they refused to give him discovery, told him if he wanted to see it, he could essentially come into the office and see it. And mind you, this is when he was trying to get whatever dash cam it was that they had. So many times he filed many motions about this, violating this client's rights, and even at one point a motion to dismiss. And the judge every single time was denying every single motion and just really wasn't helpful at all. So fast forward to jury trial day, and so my attorney had sent me the video of the dash cam, and I had elected to make the decision to post it and bring awareness because I could not believe that just because an officer said somebody was going that fast and there was no physical evidence that a prosecutor was trying to put a kid in jail for 2 days and give him a year probation, knowing that there's just not enough evidence to support that type of conviction. So I had asked if it would be okay if I posted it to social media and if I brought some awareness to the fact that, like, this is what they were doing to people. Because, I mean, just to me, that was just gross. So I posted it. It got a good bit of attention on Facebook. I want to say maybe like 100,000 people saw it, lots of comments. During jury trial selection, the prosecutor asked the jury, has anybody seen the video that was uploaded and going around social media? So I know that they see my videos, which in a sense is a good thing because that means everybody else is seeing it too. And the whole goal of it is to provide like community awareness, because I think the biggest issue in Cherokee County is ignorance, and not willful ignorance. I think it's just a lack of knowledge and people like not knowing, because when our government, whether it's the sheriff's department or the judicial process, when they do things like this, nobody really knows that they have options. They don't make complaints. They don't, post publicly or whatever. And it just kind of gets swept under the rug, right? So, I felt good about the fact that they saw it, but then also it kind of like makes me uneasy. And yesterday they had their jury trial and it went really well. My attorney said, he cross-examined the police officer. They did their closing arguments. The jury went back to deliberate. And then the jury came out with a not guilty verdict for the 103 and a 70. You would think great news, right? They did come back with a guilty charge for speeding. And that's like one thing about Cherokee County. They like to charge you twice so that they can try to get like a conviction on at least something. So they did come back with like guilty for just regular speeding. And mind you, if you had got pulled over and just got a regular speeding ticket that doesn't even put points on your driver's license, it is a payable offense. You can usually go online, pay it, and you don't even have to go to court. Let me tell y'all what this judge sentenced this kid to, and I cannot help but feel like it is some sort of retaliation, whether that be because he, invoked his right to a jury trial, whether it be because, the prosecutors and them talk and probably found out that I had uploaded. I feel like it's something, because this judge gave this kid something that he could have paid off and, had this happen outside of a courtroom and gone about his business. Gave this kid 24 hours in jail, 12 months on probation. He has got to pay $100 a month, half of that to probation, half of that for drug testing. He can't have no drugs or alcohol for a year. Has to submit to drug and alcohol testing whenever probation asks him to. He's got almost a $600 fine. He's got 40 hours of community service, and he has to take some sort of he has to take 2 driving classes for a regular speeding ticket. I am just blown away. And honestly, it's scary. Okay. It scares me because I've heard that most of the state court judges here are like that. And I know that my case eventually will be going through those courts unless they, by the grace of God, decide to drop it, which they should. But I don't put anything past this county. And I'm not ever going to take a plea deal. So it's going to be in the hands of a jury and the mercy of a judge, ultimately, if I were to ever be found guilty, which I'm not guilty of anything, let alone obstruction. But I've come to learn never say never, given what happened to me, okay? So, I won't ever live with those expectations of, oh, I didn't do anything, because that just doesn't seem to matter anymore. And it's a helpless feeling, too, because it's like, what can you do about it? After they told me his sentence was, I went online and I Googled this judge, because I don't have, any relationships with the courts. I don't get in trouble. I don't, had never heard of this judge. So I Google him, He's got so many complaints by not just citizens, but attorneys. There's like a new website where you can vote and rate judges or whatever. And like from all the way back from like 2017, there were allegations of him making some sort of profit off of the probation situation. I guess they used to be privately or contracted with a private probation company. I've read comments where he makes decisions based off his emotions and not the law. He abuses discretion. Of course, the statute says for a regular speeding ticket, you can get up to 12 months in jail. Cool. But I've seen people take plea deals on DUIs who didn't even get jail. They might get 12 months probation, but they didn't get jail. And this is a regular speeding ticket. So I find myself wanting to do open records to find a pattern to help the community, but then also I find myself being a little bit scared to start going down that rabbit hole. Like, I almost have to fear for my safety, not just my safety, but my children's safety in this county. And honestly, that's a concern. And it's like, why are people not paying attention? Because we vote a lot of these people into the positions that they're in. And also, why are the outside entities that are able to step in and do something, why don't they? I don't understand it. I don't really know what direction to go into. I know that I'm not the kind of person to be quiet and sit still, but I also know that it's my ass that's on the line still at this moment, because they'll never. It's been 8 months. If they would just do something with my case, that'd be great. But I don't know. I thought that was crazy, and I wanted to share that. I don't know if you guys have heard of like that happening anywhere else, like in y'all's counties, or what do y'all think? What do they call that? I just feel like this poor kid was punished for his right to a jury trial, for having a jury trial on a speeding ticket. It was like the judge was irritated and inconvenienced. Another thing, he is a veteran. So there were some comments about potentially, some sort of form of like PTSD being involved with his behavior. He was married to a state representative who passed away at the end of last year unexpectedly. So I don't, know if some depression is playing into it. But from what I've heard and what I can tell, he's just a harsh, mean person. And it's just, how do you do that to people and then go home and go to sleep? Because what if somebody treated somebody you love and care about like that? That's not to say people shouldn't have consequences. It's whatever. But I feel like consequences should be proportionate to the crime. And if you're just abusing your power and the discretion to essentially just be a bully, there needs to be more that can be done about stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe there is, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I just wanted to make a video on it real quick, and I'll put the speeding video. Actually, I will link it because I don't think I have it on my computer anymore. I will link the speeding video in the description. It's on my Facebook page, and you guys can go take a look and comment and let me know what you think. One of the motions is also in the comments that my attorney had tried to file. And then I'll see if I can upload the verdict as well as the sentence that this judge gave him. But if you have any comments or suggestions, I would love if you would leave them for me, because, yeah, I'm genuinely curious. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening to me rant.